Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boring Enterprise Nerdletter Talk. It's me and my partner, Paul Moderman. Please say hi, Paul.
Hi, everybody.
And we meet as usual every 2 weeks. We just had a one extra week break for Thanksgiving. So happy belated Thanksgiving, everyone who celebrated in the United States. So we are discussing our next upcoming Nerdletter issue, in which Paul and I each write 3 stories. And sometimes we have extra stories, sometimes we don't. So we'll see how it goes this time. Right, so I'm just gonna share my screen and tell you what I'm planning to write about in this issue. So we just had SAP TechEd event a couple of weeks ago, and I will be this time kind of doubling down on SAP content. We sometimes try to write about other stuff, but this time for me at least it will be kind of super SAP TechEd heavy content. And so one of the things I want to cover is that SAP Cloud ALM is Application Lifecycle Management. I'm still kind of in the process of doing some research for that story, but I've heard from several people that they were kind of interested in this news. There were some updates in this product, and those are people who I respect and value their opinion. So I was curious myself, like, what's the deal with this Cloud ALM? What is it, first of all? Is it, is it a bird, or is it a plane, or is it, some SAP sensor to Jira? Like, what the heck is it? So I'm going to be covering, just to give you, to people who are just like me, wondering what the heck Cloud ALM is. Just give you brief overview. So Paul, are you kind of in the same kind of what the heck is Cloud ALM crowd?
I am because it's a little, the whole space, Solution Manager, Cloud ALM, Focus Run, has always felt like I both get it and it feels weird to me. Because I feel like it's a little bit like you've got a mountain of solutions, and by the way, provision this other stuff, other hardware, other software, to manage your mountain of solutions, and we'll sell you the thing that manages your other things too. And I don't know, maybe it's free, I don't know. But it's certainly not free in terms of effort, in terms of hosting and all that kind of stuff. So it's always felt like a little, I don't know. So I've always meant to learn a little bit more. I've done some stuff in Solution Manager. I enhanced it a little bit for some project back when. Obviously, there's always the charm flowing through that if you're in a place that does that. But it still feels, I still feel halfway weird about it. So I'll be glad to see your perspective on this.
Yeah, I started with not really knowing what it is exactly, because there were some, it was very briefly covered, I think, maybe in the keynote or in some other sessions that I watched, but it was like, oh, look at this, look at the screen, look at this dashboard or something. So there wasn't really much meat on it. But but I found some sessions. There are quite a few videos about it. So apparently products that has been available for some time. So, and it seems that team that in charge of it at least is interested in some feedback. There is also demo system actually available. So yeah, I'm gonna dig in the upcoming days on this. So this will be my hopefully reasonably short story to give you just the highlights, like what is it, why should you care, or maybe should you not care. Generally, what's the deal with SAP
What's the deal?
What's the deal? All right, so my second piece would be about that notorious SAP Build, which was like very kind of big, loud announcement. And again, it's like people wondering like what the heck the deal is with the Build. Is this another Leonardo? Is there more to it? What's going on? Like what is even happening there? Because that kind of came out of nowhere. At least the name kind of threw me off completely. And there were quite a few sessions on it in TechEd, so I went through most of them, and I will just have summary of basically my findings, my impressions from those sessions, and whatever information I could find around it. I kind of I mean, a little spoiler alert, but I'm leaning towards the conclusion that it actually kind of is like SAP Leonardo, because when you look at what it actually encompasses, there isn't like SAP Build like a product. Even if you go to SAP Session, there is a product list. SAP Build is not there. All those pieces of it, like SAP Work Zone, and a lot of it was product before. It's just, again, different products that are suddenly bundled, suddenly rebranded, renamed, and suddenly part of this SAP Build, whatever that really is. It seems to, in a nutshell, consist of like three big pieces, which are, I think all of them are basically existing products that are just bundled and repackaged and renamed. And I'm not really sure why, but I will just share whatever I could find with all my reading and watching and all of that.
That's good. I'll be glad to see that, because I kind of looked at, so I was at TechEd, and I kind of looked at Build in terms of, where does it fit in the market of low code, no code? And so diving in deeper like this, I'll be glad to see your thoughts on this, because if you're seeing some cobwebs and old things under the hood, right, then I'll be curious to see what else is under there.
Yeah, I would say renaming is very weird, and SAP is doing it again with all those different editions, which I personally really dislike. This, like, oh, this is like product X like this edition, and that product X like another edition. It's been confusing before, and I don't know why SAP kind of stepping on the same rake again with using this type of product naming strategy. I don't know, but I'm obviously not the one to decide.
Jelena, should we maybe just do like a Boring Enterprise Nerds like Platinum Edition kind of thing as our monetization, strategy or whatever? Like, we'll do this, right? But then for the Platinum Edition, we'll do 2 extra stories and 1 wrap or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So please, reach out to us if anyone is interested in Platinum Edition of Boring Enterprise Nerds. We are. Yeah, you know where to find us. So we're not going anywhere. And
that's true.
yeah, hopefully. So my third story, and this is kind of I'm being very efficient this week because this is the stuff that I would be doing for work anyway. And third story is no different.
Smart.
Like, it's like combining my work business with pleasure. So my third story is about we did a research at Mindset where I worked some time ago to find what would be a good knowledge sharing and kind of knowledge and content organization platform for us as a kind of growing but still kind of smallish company. And I will also share what products that we have evaluated and why we decided not to go with them. I think that might be helpful to others who are looking at the same information. But this is a platform that we ended up with, and I actually really like it. It is inexpensive, especially for small, medium-sized teams like ours, because there are other platforms that are more robust, but they're also more expensive, and they probably make sense for like big, large companies. I also like their overall user experience and just their workflow. So there are many helpful features that I'm now that we bought some licenses. We're kind of doing like a pilot program right now. And I just really enjoy using it. I think it's a very neat product, and I hope that it gets more following, gets developed. It's pretty solid competition, I think, to some of the bigger platforms out there. And so definitely, if any of our readers and viewers working for kind of small to medium-sized companies, I think it would be of particular interest to them. So these are my 3 stories.
I actually have 2 follow-ups to what you just said here too. One is, this is actually you didn't even know it. This is triple dipping
Wow.
because we're also kind of tossing around some
Mm,
ideas about things like this at my company too, at
mm,
Bodark. Very early stages. Um, but the guy that I've been kind of just tossing the ideas around, it's his idea, um, has been kind of on the hunt for evaluating things like this.
oh, there you
And
go.
and is this a quadruple dip? I don't know. He is an avid reader of our work here too
Mhm.
on the newsletter. So like this is all gonna like loop around to a giant like you're actually helping us too in
Awesome.
all of the things too. So that's great. The second thing is before we started doing this, I just want to get this out there because I just have to say it sometimes.
Mhm.
Microsoft Teams has a wiki
Oh,
solution
yeah.
and it is garbage.
Yeah.
So uh, to any listeners out there who are like, no, don't worry, I've got it in Teams. You don't.
No.
Teams Wiki is complete garbage compared to the good stuff out there. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, and we definitely also looked into different other things, and yeah, many times. And what I liked about this one, it's not an afterthought for this platform. It's what it was built for, and it's
Yeah.
primary purpose. Because for Teams, it's like, oh, here is side something for you that is yeah, and many are like that. All right, so these are my three stories for this issue, and over to you, Paul.
Yes, yes, yes. Let me get to the share thing. Share screen. Uh, so I have four things. And so something's not going to make the cut as usual.
Awesome.
Um,
Place your
first
bets.
thing is um, AWS reInvent is
Oh
this
yeah.
week.
Yep.
And I like to step outside of SAP tech conferences and look at the other conferences out there and see what's going on out there. And AWS always has like 200 things to announce at their conferences. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at this top announcements blog, there's like umpteen bajillion things
Wow.
going on there. And I mean, since AWS is into a lot of very um, like a lot of nooks and crannies and compute kind of stuff, it's going to have more announcements, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, there are still even packed in here are topics and things that dovetail with the stuff that we've talked about on podcast or newsletter kind of stuff. So I'll kind of pull a couple of those things up and I talk about them. But as of right now, I just kind of have browsed through it,
Mm-hmm.
and it is kind of it's weighted a little bit more toward like general purpose cloud compute kind of stuff, but it definitely has some enterprise and application implications for what they've announced here for sure. Especially things like application integration
Mm-hmm.
tools, biz apps tools,
Mm-hmm.
industry things here. There's pieces here that are for sure like up our alley too. So
Sweet.
that's
And
one thing.
that's why people should read our newsletter, because you get like creme of the crop, creme de
Yeah,
la creme.
yeah, the creme de la creme. And if you get the platinum edition, I'll also review the latest Microsoft conference. Um,
Awesome.
okay, so there's that. Um, another thing that I wanted to do this time around is this super cool thing here. Azure has a space software development kit. Literally, it is a platform stuff that you can run, excuse me, on spacecrafts and communicate with them and have your platform stuff working in space. So you darn well better believe I'm gonna like poke deeper into this
Mm.
and figure out like how to like hack into Starlink or whatever and
Mm.
you know send our podcast instead
Yeah.
of regular TV shows and stuff. Broadcast. I'm so sorry. Something got in my throat. Broadcast our podcast to the whole world via
Yeah.
satellite, things of that like that. But like, isn't it cool that cloud stuff is now like far above the
Yeah.
clouds, literally, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and it's not stopping here, right? When
Mm.
there is a moon base in not too long from now, we're gonna have Azure Moonbase SDK, right? And the
Mm.
AWS Luna, it'll probably be called or whatever, right? But something like that, and GCP Apollo or whatever, right, will be running on the moon too. So it's just going to be everything's going to expand, not just in terms of capabilities on the planet, but like wherever humans go, the cloud will follow, and will
Mm.
probably, honestly, probably bear uh, even rethinking what cloud is, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
like we're used to like no matter where you are on Earth, it's less than 1 second away network wise to get information or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But on the moon, that's not the case, right? It's if you're sending packets from the moon,
Yeah.
even at light speed, it's over a second to get from the moon to here to wherever you're going to route it, right? So there's like different things going on with that stuff. And I just love that like the the cloud vendors are already playing with that stuff, you know.
Yeah, well, I know you know I like that Expanse series
Oh yeah, yeah,
on Amazon, and it's one of those kind of the most realistic sci-fi shows as I would
yeah.
define it, and that's where I really like how they showed, for example, it's about Earth and people colonized Mars for a while, and there are
Hmm.
some belt on the belt. Asteroid belt, and
Hmm.
they're sending transmissions between like leaders of Mars and Earth, and they're like, "Oh, your message is going to be delivered in like 20 or 30 minutes."
Right.
And
Yeah.
I really kind of like that because that to me seems like more real than someone in a galaxy far far away suddenly
Just
like
like
calling
hi.
Earth and
Yeah.
like, hey, like in
Yeah.
real they're chatting like. I mean, yeah, it's nice, but
Intergalactic
come on,
FaceTime. That's
yeah.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's 20, 30 minutes. That's pretty impressive actually, but
Yeah.
it's also more, I think, in
Yeah.
terms of reality, realistic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
Huh.
what a
So yeah.
time to be
So
alive. I mean,
I know.
seriously.
Actually, I just did a podcast with uh my boss too, and we talked about future stuff, and it was crazy too. There's like it really is what a time to be alive for so many reasons.
Yeah.
So um, but okay. Anyway, so there's that. Those are two of my things, and then I have two more things, and I'm not sure which ones I'll do. So first, and this is probably what I'll do, but the first thing is um, you you might have seen that my favorite OpenAI tool, GPT-3,
Hmm.
has um a new module available with even better text processing stuff.
Hmm.
And so I'm gonna get it to I'm gonna get I'm gonna have it. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have it write us a poem for the issue. It won't be this one. I'll make it something else, and I'll really work it through. So it's like an ode to boring enterprise nerds or whatever something like that is, and I'll really work it up and make it like really nice and stuff, and
Hmm.
make it literally write us a poem or a dirty limerick or something like that for the issue. The other piece of that is, and this is not going to be in the newsletter, but I'm just saying it because I heard it. I heard that. So this is GPT-3 behind the scenes, the NLP model, right? I have been hearing that GPT-4 is not far away from
Wow.
release, and the people who have seen it are saying that as amazing as this is, that thing is another big leap, just like this was, right? That
Wow.
that thing is even crazier in terms of, oh my gosh, what is happening here? What do we have? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I'm really excited to see what's going on in that place. Um, but for our newsletter, I'm going to get us a poem. um, a poem about us, probably. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe you and I will go on an adventure of some kind. I don't know. It'll be an epic story of you and I slaying bugs or something like
Yeah.
that in Jira.
With
Um,
Space SDK
yeah, with space.
or in
Um,
Cloud ALM.
the other thing I wanted to look at, and I'm not sure I'll get to it this time or not, is how the SAP has mentors and champions and
Hmm.
whatever.
Hmm.
I really wanted to find out like Oracle, Workday, NetSuite,
Mm.
like do they have a similar thing?
Yeah.
I'm very curious to find out because I know that
Mm.
obviously like Microsoft has MVPs.
Yeah.
That's been around like forever. Um, but like some of these other like big ERP and enterprise software things, do they have a similar thing to what SAP has with mentors and champions and all that kind of stuff. And I want to find out, although I think it might take a little bit to kind of crack that open. Because I mean, you could probably bum around on the SAP forums for a while before you realize that there was such a thing as like a mentor. You know what I mean? Because you could just be looking for answers and then go away, right? So like I'm trying to like kind of search around and find out, but like I don't know whether I'm just not searching for the right stuff or whether they don't exist, right? So
yeah, I've never heard for Oracle. Definitely never heard of anything like that. I'm actually not sure if there is Oracle community.
Yeah, Oracle has a community that you can go to. I don't know whether it has champions, you know, big time, big wigs or whatever going on. But yeah, same thing with all those other vendors too. Like I just don't know. So I'm curious to see whether the SAP mentors and champions are like a unique thing, or if it's like brothers and sisters out there in the universe that are
would be interesting to do some kind of crossover episode of something, you know, some kind of collaboration.
Right?
With,
yeah, it would be. That would be because you and I mean, we write about other stuff, but we're SAP folks, so it's very, you know, SAP-ish around here. Yeah. But anyway, if I find some interesting stuff, I'll write about that. But I think I'm going to do AWS, Space, and epic poem about forming enterprise for myself.
Awesome. All right, so that's it, folks. That's our how many? Seven total stories, out of which 6 will make it into the next Nerdletter issue.
Who will make it alive?
Yeah, who will? Yeah, which cuisine reigns supreme? All right, so thank you so much for watching, and please read our newsletter, listen to our podcast, watch our YouTube channel, and I don't know whichever social media we are gonna go to next. Yeah, there's new horizons out there.
Tweet us on Mastodon.
Mastodon or someplace. I don't know, somewhere. All right. We'll be right here anyway. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.